Once upon a time, a little girl became very sick and lost all her memories. She was empty as the day she was born. But in that dark emptiness, the voice of God spoke, "Walk, talk, heal." And by grace through faith, she did. Soon, the girl was even fuller and more alive than before her forgetting. But the voice of God continued to speak to her, and soon he commanded, "Heal others as I have healed you. Teach them the power of faith, that it may connect them to me and my power." My name is Robin Renee Wilson, and that little girl was me. For the last 35 years, through my relationship with God, I have participated in many miracles of healing, prophecy, and deliverance. None of these should be possible, but that is God's way. You can accomplish anything, heal the deepest wounds, and create doors where there were only walls, if you simply trust in faith over facts. Hi, welcome back to Faith Over Facts. I'm your co-host, Robin Renee. And as we continue with the series, Let Me Love Me, I have been facing some challenges. I'll tell you, I've been struggling with 3 P's. The first one is perfectionism, procrastination, and pessimism. It has been a struggle for me. And so through this challenge, I have found I thought I overcame the perfectionism thing. I said, okay, perfectionism, I got that. Oh no, this challenge has reminded me that I still have some areas that I need to work on. I remember when I first started, I said, okay, I got this. Got my gym bag packed. I got everything ready to go. Got to the gym, and guess what I realized? I forgot my shower shoes. I sat in the car for at least 5 minutes, stuck. Okay, I don't have my shower shoes. And I said, I have to go to work after this. What am I going to do? I said, I cannot let anything stop me from going to the gym and working out today. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have to just put a towel down while I take a shower. In the bottom of the shower, take a shower, and make this happen. I'm going into this gym. I'm going to get my workout on. I overcame it. But I realized that I almost got stuck with that perfectionism. And what is perfectionism? It's striving to be perfect and not finishing and overthinking. I was in the car overthinking, okay, what am I going to do without my water shoes? Am I going to get a fungus? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And I almost stopped. I almost allowed myself to just be paralyzed at that moment. But I had to overcome it. And I had to not allow myself to keep overthinking the situation. And I said, I have to finish. I will finish. I am going to complete this. I'm going to finish it. And I did. And I'm but I still found myself still struggling with this perfection thing. So I said, okay, Lord, I need you to help me with this. What is the problem? How can I overcome this problem with perfection? Comparing myself. I was looking at the people when I was at the gym, how they were doing things. And I'm saying, okay, they're doing it. I said, well, maybe I should do it faster. Or maybe I should do it slow. Am I ever gonna get through this, And I realized, you know what? You created me to be uniquely made in your image. You might cause me to slow down a little bit. You might cause me to go a little faster. I needed to find my own pace in the gym. Yes, I saw these people who are experts who's been doing, you could tell that they was fit and they had been doing it for a long time. And just because they were doing it so well, doesn't mean that was my same journey. I needed to take my time. And I actually took time. I said, you know what? I asked this gentleman that was in the gym, you know what? How did you? Now, I noticed that you were going up and then you were going down. You were, high intensity, low. He was explaining it to me, the difference and the impact from it. And I said, I want to do it. He said, no, start at your pace. And I think as a person who struggles with that perfectionism, that sometimes I want to get there fast. I want to get there fast. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get there fast. And I realize that is not the right way to go about things. That's, I think, why I lost my mojo so many times, because I was trying to be so perfect with it. I did not allow myself to really go through my own process. And so I said, through this, I'm going to get a plan that's perfect for me. And I love that he said to me, Do it at your own pace. Don't try to rush it. And he said, give yourself time to grow. And I said, and I've been hearing that lately a couple times, I think because I struggle with this perfectionism and procrastination, to where I would delay something because I'm like, okay, with procrastination, I would delay it because I'm like, okay, I got to make it right. If I can't do 3 days workout, I just don't do it at all. And I was causing myself destruction because I wasn't just getting out there doing it. And I found that these two P's work hand in hand, perfectionism and procrastination, because in both of them, you can overdo it or you can underdo it. And I wanted to find balance. And I found balance in my life in every other area. But in this particular area, getting my health right, working out and getting up, working out and doing those things, I found that there was no balance there. I needed to get the balance back in that part of my life. And it's because I overcame perfectionism in my spiritual walk. I overcame perfectionism in my everyday walk. And I overcame it in procrastination in those walks as well. But in my actual physical health, I was still struggling with it because I realized that procrastination was because I didn't want to face the difficult part. To getting up in the morning because I work late at night, or the difficult part, not wanting to roll out of that bed and just get up and make it happen. Put myself first, get up and put myself first. The difficult part of the challenge. I don't think the pain of the workout was the problem. I think the discipline of just getting up out of the bed, the challenge of, it's time to get out the bed and make this happen. I like to sleep. I like 5 more minutes. I found myself pushing that snooze, cuddling, being cozy and cuddling underneath that blanket. I had to say, okay, my comfort is not going to get me to where I really want to be. So I had to say, okay, that procrastination and that delay was because I was being a little too comfortable. I didn't want to go through the difficult part of my workout, the difficult part of getting out of the warm bed and just being uncomfortable. I wanted it to be easy. So I said, okay, let me work on that part of my life. That trying to be so perfect and procrastination. I said, Lord, you did not give me the spirit of perfectionism because Christ was the only one who walked the earth that was perfect. So I need to stop trying to be perfect. The workout thing is not going to be perfect. I need to do the best that I can do. And I realized I needed to set lower goals for myself. And it was so many people who love me who told me, Robin, stop trying to do 3 or 4 days, setting these high goals for your workout, and just go 1 day. And if you go that 1 day, and if you happen to go 2, then you went 2. And if you happen to go 3, you happen to go 3. But just strive for that 1 day. And so many people was telling me that because I guess they saw me struggling with that perfectionism, that procrastination, not getting anything done, because they realized I'm saying I want to do 3 days. And I'm like, well, okay. She didn't do the 3 days. And they would say, did you do your workout? No, I didn't get a chance to do my 3 days. But because I wasn't doing it 3 days, because I needed to start somewhere. And they said, just start 1 day. And I began to notice when I started that 1 day, that 2 days came. And then sometimes I was able to work the 3 days. And sometimes I was even able to do 4. But what I'm noticing is that just start somewhere. Sometimes some people set high goals and some people set lower goals. But I had to learn just to set lower goals for myself. Start there. And if that's you, start wherever if you've been setting lower and you need to go higher, go there. If you've been setting low and you need to, if you've been setting high and you need to go lower, you go there. But for me, I have been setting my goals too high as far as my workout, and I need to find a happy medium and start low. And then as I start low, then I will find myself building from that point. So I hope that helps you, because for me, I had to learn, slow down, girl. Just set lower goals for yourself and build from there. And then pessimism. Oh my goodness. I have found myself, oh my goodness, negative. Well, since I didn't do that 1 day, then I'm just not going to do it at all. Am I ever going to finish this challenge? And, I had to stop beating myself up, looking at everything half full. Because as far as my spiritual life, I always looked at everything half full and not half empty. But then in this, I was optimistic in my spiritual walk, my personal journey, optimistic. I'm optimistic, but in this area, as far as my workout and getting out there and doing, my exercising and everything, I found myself being pessimistic. I was like, okay, I can't walk. I can't do this. I can't be negative. I have to believe that it will happen and not always think the worst. It's not going to happen for me. Am I ever going to finish this goal? Am I ever going to get to this challenge? Am I going to let people that's supposed to be, that we coming together as a community with this new challenge, am I going to let them down because I haven't lost the weight that I thought I was going to lose? My 10% goal that I set, that I didn't, get up to do my 3 days. Because I realized when I set the challenge with you, I said I wanted to drink my water, which I've been doing better with the water intake. I wanted to do my workout and my stretching and all these different things. I set all these goals, but I felt like I set my bar a little too high because that's what I do. I multitask. I'm always doing things, and in some areas of my life, I probably can do, that's probably a good pace for me. But this has been a struggle for me. So sometimes, just because you can do things, you have you can move in a faster pace in other areas in your life doesn't necessarily mean in every area of your life you can move at a fast pace. And I'm learning that about myself through this challenge. That guess what? Just because you can multitask, you can do 50 things at one time in other areas in your life doesn't mean that you can do that in this area. You need to find balance in this part, because this part of your life is where you have been struggling with, because this part of your life it's been a challenge. And so that's why this is a major challenge for me. And I have to overcome perfectionism and procrastination and being negative, having pessimism. I can't have that type of energy in my life. So I said, what is the problem, Lord? And what's going on with me? And one day I was working in a salon and a young lady was there. She's a friend of mine. And she said, I was telling her some of my story and my journey. And she said, Robin, I'm hearing in my spirit, self-sabotage. And I said, self-sabotage. I said, that sounds like that's me. And I never thought of myself as a person who was self-sabotage myself. And I said, you know what? You're right. That is me. And I realize when the definition is to do or to block something that you want a goal or for success. But sometimes I was reading a little further. Sometimes you're doing it, and sometimes you don't even know that you're self-sabotaging yourself. And for me, I didn't even know I was self-sabotaging myself with these 3 Ps. I had no idea. I thought because my life was thriving in this area, that area, that I wasn't one to self-sabotage. I knew that I needed to love myself more, but I didn't realize that by loving me, I had to stop the self-sabotage. And how was I doing that? In so many different areas. I might have to use my phone today. But I found that through my emotional fear of not finishing my course, that I was self-sabotaging myself. And what does it mean to self-sabotage? It's when people do or they block their own success. They prevent themselves from achieving and accomplishing their goals. And like for me, like I shared earlier, I was setting too high goals for myself. But the self-sabotage is when you set higher low goals. And also, I have in my notes here, it's also self-destruction. When the uncertainties in your life, and I struggle with that, especially, I'll talk about that at a later time, but that uncertainty sometimes, or am I going to finish? How is this outcome going to be? You start beating yourself up with the negative thoughts, and that's not of God. God doesn't want us to have those those spirits inside of us, in our heads, thinking negative about ourselves, and He doesn't want us to have those 3 Ps that I just spoke about. When we do that, we allow the doors to be slammed right in our face, because life is going to have anytime you're doing what God is calling you to do, the adversity is going to rise. The devil's going to send adversity your way. So you have to know when you're at that door and you have that key to unlock that door that God has for you, of opportunity to go through those paths that God has for you, you have to know that in whatever it is, weight loss, a new career, new opportunity on your job, or whatever, buying a home, having children, whatever it is that you can be believing God for, you must understand that don't allow your self-sabotage to happen, because the devil will creep in to try to stop you. You can have money, financial issues will arise, or accident, different things can arise. You have to fight through that and know that adversity is going to come. And it will try to come to block you and stop you from entering the things that God has for you that will cause emotional fear. But God says in his word that he has not given us the spirit of fear, but love, peace, and a sound mind. And I really want to talk to you about overcoming that fear, by having a sober mind, allowing your mind to be sober in the things that God has called you to do, and trusting whatever it is he's calling you to do, that you do that. But 1 Peter 13, it says, therefore, preparing your mind for action and being sober-minded and setting your hope fully on the grace that he has before you. And we have to understand that God's grace is sufficient in our weakness. We need to remember through our weakness, he makes us strong. He gives us the strength that we need through him. And I think a lot of times that we forget that we can't do this thing on our own. I think in our weakness is where we're strong through him, through his grace, that he makes us strong. And I really want us to be encouraged with that. And then I also think about how the adversary, the enemy, he will just try to come and throw things and block your way. And I'll share this in a minute, something that happened with me as I was starting this actual series. But 1 Peter 5, 8, and 9, I'm not going to read all of 9, but it says, be alert and sober-minded, that your enemy, the adversary, the devil, he prowls around looking as a roaring lion for someone he can devour. Resist him. Stand firm in your faith. And this is why we have to have faith over facts. We have to stand firm in our faith. It doesn't matter what it looks like and what he brings us. I mean, he would try to bring, like I said before, financial problems, distractions in all different forms to try to block you and get you off track. When I started this, I tripped and fell, and I ended up hurting my leg. And I said, here we go again. I was getting my workout done. I was doing my thing. And here I had a rhythm going. I was starting to make myself a priority. I was taking action. I was doing the opposite of these 3 Ps and finding myself just actually being proactive, and not procrastinating, and being proactive and getting stuff done, and just moving and trusting the plans of God that he has called me to do, and said, Lord, this is what you want me to do. This is what I'm going to do. Guess what? I fell and hurt myself. My whole left side I hurt. And then I had the nerve to hurt my foot, where I couldn't put much pressure on my foot. So how am I going to stand up and exercise, right, when my foot is in severe pain? And then my whole side of my body. So I said, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to just do upper body exercises since I can't stand. I tried to do that, and I did it, but I said, well, man, it's not really as effective. But I kept going with it. I didn't let that stop me. But then I realized, okay, it's my birthday week. I'm going out of town. We're going to go do this. We're going to do that. And I began to start eating foods, right, that I knew I should have been eating as much. Why? Because it's my birthday week. Let me just splurge. Maybe I should have waited till next year's birthday after I finished my challenge, right? And did it. But this time I said, well, I just kind of want to just enjoy myself and just eat this, and kind of, but I got back on track. But I started thinking about it, but was it worth it to take that? I think that we need to realize sometimes we need to set goals and keep them no matter what comes our way. I don't care if it's our birthday, what comes our way, whatever it is. If we have a goal, stick with it. It doesn't matter. And I should have continued to, even though I couldn't stand, even though I was doing my upper body exercises or whatever, I felt like I should have just kept doing that until I actually healed. But I kind of got stuck and stopped. Because I was like, well, I'm not really being that effective. I don't have a full body exercise plan going on. So I just want to encourage you to don't allow ourselves to allow self-sabotage to stop us from really obtaining the things that God will have us to obtain through success. Be proactive. Keep moving. Keep trusting whatever plan that God has for your life. Don't allow the adversary, don't allow the devil to stop you from going through those doors that God would have for you to go through. Don't allow him to stop you from achieving whatever goal it is that you have for yourself. And keep striving to finish your race. Keep striving to finish your course. You got this. Don't overthink, because I found that overthinking causes you to doubt and fear and have anxiety and worry. And those things is not of God. Those things are you're trying to be too perfect, and then get procrastination comes because you get stuck. Those things keep you stuck. Anxiety and fear and doubt, overthinking. And it causes destruction, uncertainty. Oh, what's going to happen? And anxiety, all these things just happen. And you become a victim to your, to just thinking that you're not going to make it. You're not going to win. You're not going to finish. But I declare and declare that we are going to finish this challenge. We're going to love ourselves through this challenge. That we're worthy enough to finish this challenge. No matter what comes, we will finish this Let Me Love You challenge. And whatever it is that you're struggling with, those are my struggles. That perfectionism, I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to move forth in what God's calling me to do. Pessimism, I'm not going to allow myself to be negative. I'm not going to let delay. I'm not going to let overthinking, perfectionism, and I'm not really wanting to compare myself with others, but I found myself just looking like, wow, they're doing pretty good and I want to get there. No, I'm going to stay in my own lane. And I think so many times we look at other people and we get out of it. What happens when we are driving and we're looking at we're going in towards the next lane? We need to stay in our own lane. Whatever lane that God has you in, stay in there. And I remember I have a story. I remember my daughter was going away to college, and my husband and her, she had received a scholarship, a full academic scholarship to a certain college, and they had orientation. The college, they came out and they were doing an orientation and talking about the different things was going to happen on the campus. And I was super excited. I wanted to get there. I wanted to get there to hear all of the details and be part of this journey with my daughter. And my client was running behind, and it set me back a little bit. And I said, okay, well, at least my husband was going to get her there on time, but I really wanted to get there. So I remembered as I was driving to get to my daughter and my husband, I was on the freeway, and California's traffic is no joke. And at this time, it was prime time. The traffic was just bump to bump, bumper to bumper. And I remember I was on the freeway heading to this meeting with my daughter and my husband. And I was in lane. I was in a lane. And I was behind this truck and these cars, and it was just going so slow. And the Holy Spirit said, "Stay in your lane. Don't leave this lane." And I was like, Lord, these people are passing me by. I'm stuck, and I need to get to my daughter. He said, "Stay in your lane. Don't leave this lane. Stay here." And I had to stay there. And even though I felt like I was going slower, and everybody was passing me by, I had to stay in this lane. And even though I wanted to be where my daughter was, so I can hear everything that was going on before she went away to this college, I had to stay in this lane. I had to trust that I would get there on time. And even though I was running behind because it had already started, I didn't want to miss out on my daughter's journey. But God told me to stay in my lane. Do not leave that lane. And that lesson for me taught me so much. And I had to stay there. And I had to stay there until he said, "I'll let you know when you can get out the lane." And as he released me to get out the lane, I actually made it there on time. I missed probably just a little bit because they was having fellowship, but I was there right on time for what I needed to be there for. And I remember when my daughter, in the middle of that semester, when she was going through some things, I remember saying, "Remember when they said this, that's the thing, and remember when they said that?" Because guess what? I was right where I needed to be. And when she needed me, I was able to remind her of what they said in that room. So what I want to say to you is sometimes we feel like the lane that we're in is a little too slow and everybody else is passing us by. But when we stay in our lane that God has for us, and we stay in the lane, no matter if they're going too slow or they're going too fast, or the lane you're in is going faster than others and around you that's going, whatever lane you're supposed to be in, like I shared before, sometimes you have to be at the lower impact, and sometimes you have to be at a higher impact. Whatever your journey is, you stay. I set my goals too high. Some people do better setting their goals low. Whatever your lane is, you stay in that lane. Don't shoot for perfectionism, but shoot for the perfect will of God. Shoot for the peace of God that will surpass all understanding. If you just shoot for the plan that God has for your life, and don't allow perfectionism and all these other areas to stop you for getting to the place that God has for you to go to. I just want to encourage you today to just know that you are more than a conqueror through Jesus Christ. And you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Just let the peace of the Lord, just let his mind be on, just let his mind rest in you. Let his thoughts of you rest in you. For his thoughts is not yours. His ways is not yours. It's not going to always look like you think it should look, but he has the bigger plan for your life. I always say that God is my master strategist. Whatever it is your plan is for my life, Lord, that's the path that I would like to go. Because as long as you stay on the path that he has for you, you will never get off track. But when you try to look to the left in somebody else's lane, look to the right on somebody else's lane, you always get off track. You tend to go their direction. But God wants you to go in the lane that he has for you so that you can go in the divine direction and stay on course. Stay in the proper alignment that he has just for your life. And when you do that, you will win. You will finish your course. You will see that glass half full and not half empty. So I'm super excited for you. I don't want you to stop believing and have faith that the size of a mustard seed, and that whatever those mountains and those hurdles that come in your way, that they will be torn down through your faith. You have to have faith over facts. It doesn't matter what it looks like, what it feels like. Know that if you just believe that you can, that you can. So today I leave with you that you are worthy of this challenge. Today that I leave with you that you are royalty. Today I leave with you that you are relentless. Don't give up. Finish your course, as I will finish my course as well. Bye, and God bless you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, how do you see yourself? What is your I am? What is your I am for your life? Bye. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in to Faith Over Facts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We have new episodes every Friday. If you would like to support the ministry by donating or purchasing Faith Over Facts merch, please do so by visiting my website, RobinReneeMinistries.com. See you next time. Bye-bye.